Greetings, everybody out there. Thank you guys for coming to the show. Give me talk. That's the name of the show. It's new here on YouTube. We'll get back right after this. We'll talk more about it as we listen to a little bit of music here and get back to it. Okay, we're back over here again. Just listen a little bit of that music. This is Give Me Talk live. Where today is November 7, 2024. Yeah, you may see all the time. It's a brand new channel. Should I even look at it or even dare subscribe to it? Listen, this is not my first rodeo. I have had channels before, so no big deal. All right, so I like broadcasting. I like talking to people. You guys are welcome to put any commentaries on there, as you please. And we've been monitoring a situation out there having in the Gulf, developing. Possibly Tampa might be affected, or you could say the west coast of Florida. Also, other things have been happening. The format of the show is basically we do a little bit of talk, a little bit of music, a little talk, a little bit of music, something like the old ways the radios used to work. And they still do if you actually go out there and listen to AM, FM, mostly AM radio, where they'll throw in some music and do some talk. All right, so, but here I am, and I might, just call me JJ, if you like. And I'll be covering different topics, and sometimes what I do is I'll pick a topic of the day. Yesterday I was talking about AI. Unfortunately, we had some technical problem that I was not aware of until I actually listened to it on my broadcast later on, that there was a horrible echo, and the person that I had there's a person that comes in once in a while, and they will chat with us, will chat with me, and this person, for whatever reason, just didn't, I guess he didn't hear it, but there was a horrible echo. I think I might have gotten that out of the way. I tested the system pretty much today, and it didn't seem to have an echo. All right, so, but what's the situation developing? Well, we got the that storm out in the Gulf heading towards the west coast of Florida. The last thing I seen, I could have changed direction from the time I seen it. I've been like about an hour already fixing things out here. Or it could still be heading in that same direction. I haven't seen the updates yet. But if you are in Florida, and I have lived in Florida, you can say, yeah, I'm sure you guys are all getting prepared for what may be heading in your direction. Now, it seems like what they're saying is it's going to cut across from around Tampa, if it stays on the trajectory that is on right now, from around Tampa going all the way across possibly to like Daytona and in that area. All right, so as you know, as further it goes inland, it reduces speed. Hopefully it will, because it loses the energy from the ocean, all that heat, and it starts to reduce. You start losing a lot of the wind, but hopefully it doesn't go in that direction. We can see all the damage that the other storm did, going all the way through the panhandle of Florida and all the way up to North Carolina. So it may have lost some speed, but the flooding was horrible, and a lot of people have lost their properties. And we're still sending our prayers out there for the people in those areas. Well, 5 states have been affected by that. So if you're in Florida and you're preparing yourself, don't wait till the last minute to prepare, because you don't know how these storms operate. Sometimes I've been through several hurricanes in my life, and the highest category, was it category 5, whatever, it was way up there, and one of the most nastiest storms that ever hit the U.S. I went through that one. And as actually Hurricane Andrew, I went through that one. It was a horrible thing, And I was like, right, some people say I went through a hurricane, but they're nowhere near it. They're like, 100 miles away. No, I was actually there, like in zero ground. The eye of the storm went right over our heads, and I'm, literally, this was one of the most disastrous. Hurricane Andrews was one of the most disastrous storms uh, to hit the U.S. And I was able to get up to a to an apartment complex that was so happening. It's one of the few apartment complexes in that area that was above 8 floors. All right. And I was able to go all the way up to the roof and look. This is right after the hurricane. Look at the panorama scenery, of everything around me, and they look like something out of when they dropped the bomb in Japan, Hiroshima or something like that. It looked like the whole place had been totally wasted. I literally seen like these moving vans, all right, on top of a building. All right, I'm not talking about moving like a small moving van. I'm talking about more like a moving truck. All right, on top of a building. It'd been flipped over and it was lying on top of a building. All right, that's so like you can see how horrible that was, because these hurricanes, when they're very big hurricanes, they will also come with a lot of. This is what they say. They say it will also come with a lot of like tornadoes embedded within these hurricanes, so things can get picked up and thrown around. And we had a heck of a time during that hurricane. And, surviving the hurricane is one thing, surviving the aftermath is another thing. All right, so if you don't have your supplies and you're not ready, you could suffer greatly trying to get through the time that there's no power, there's nobody to help you. And, I want to be frank, I'm not going to complain much about the government back in Hurricane Andrew. And from my time going through all those hurricanes, I'll tell you right after this, because let me play a little music, and I'm going to tell you a little bit what happened and why does the government work the way they work, and that sometimes people just don't understand it. And and let me tell you, I've not been through one major. I've been through several hurricanes. All right, so I'll be back right after this. We're going to play a little bit of song, a little bit of music, and we'll be back right after the music here. All right.
See the light of a new day dawning. Feel the love from a beating heart. You catch a ride to the top of the world. This is where we start. No, we can't make it last forever. We gotta use all the time we have. And you know that we'll never say never if we ever get the chance. And it's good to be alive. It's good to be alive. This feeling's running high. Life is calling and the world is beautiful. Na, 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 na. So good to be alive. This feeling's running high. Oh, life is calling and the world is beautiful. So beautiful. Life is calling, yeah, life is calling. Life is calling, the world is beautiful. 'Cause life is calling and the world is beautiful.
Okay, we're back here again. We are back here again. Yeah, I guess it is good to be alive. All right, so we're good to go. We were talking today's topic, because we are getting closer, possibly to another hurricane making landfall. I'm going to be talking a little bit about hurricanes today, and I've had a lot of experience with hurricanes, and I've actually lost a lot of things because of hurricanes. Either it's been because of wind damage, or another hurricane because of water damage, flooding. So I can really, relate to a lot of these people having these problems, like in places like North Carolina, the other 5 states that got here, Florida. I'm from Florida, so we're living in the. We always, somehow manage to get hit by a hurricane, so we can't stay out of the way. But the situation is, well, I was going to talk about the government and how the government reacts to emergencies. Now, the government is one of those things where you have all these managers, or it's this bureaucratic system where everybody has to get involved and everybody has to have their 2 cents in, and you have a meeting to have a meeting to then have another meeting. But when the ball gets moving, things will happen. Supplies will start moving in. But sometimes you kind of have to look at it from the government's perspective. All right. If a hurricane right now were to hit a place like Miami, all right, and let's say you had major damage, and it was a Category 4 hurricane, category, some high top category. Um, your government can just, and the local police is basically you're the first ones who are handling everything, and the local police has suffered damage too. I can tell you that right now because I have a lot of friends who were police officers back then when Hurricane Andrew hit. All right, and I myself was working, you could say, in some departments because I'd done work with the DoD and other things. All right, but here going back to this, they just can't go out there and just walk in there, just send everybody down there and let them figure out what's next. No, you're gonna have to know how to set up your whole stuff. The government has to get the right person down there from the very beginning. Plan the right. They got a lot of this stuff already troubleshoot. But every hurricane is different. Every damage. Hurricane Andrew was pretty much a very dry storm. It wasn't a flooding event. It was more of a wind event, and it caused huge destruction. Homestead Air Force Base was totally demolished. F-16s that cost millions and millions of dollars were upside down. Hangars were destroyed, and that's what's Hurricane Andrew. Because most of the hurricane hit an area of Miami, basically from like Kendo, which is almost like mid-Miami, going all the way down to the southern part of Miami. The most heaviest parts were more from like a place called Cutteridge, going all the way down to Homestead. That was the hard. And I was in that area, like I said, the eye of the storm went right over my head, and went through hell that night, going through that hurricane because of the jobs and stuff that I was doing, trying to help people. But after the hurricane went by, and things calmed down, the winds calmed down, the storm pretty much was somewhere else already. People were in a total panic, and there was people actually there were people in shock. I can tell you there was people like walking around, they were in shock. They just didn't know what to do. Homes had been destroyed. Some people had food supplies gone, all over the place. That's why it's not easy, because you don't know what's going to happen with these hurricanes. You can't stock up in food supplies and board up your house as best as you can, but if it's really going to hit you, if it's something like, if a hurricane spins out a tornado and that hits you and destroys you, your house and your supplies, what you're going to do. Always have a plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. All right, just plan. Uh, if your home is going to get, if it gets destroyed, your trader gets destroyed. Let me tell you one thing: stay away from traders. I seen a trader park down in Miami after Hurricane Andrew hit, and it was a pile of garbage, a pile of what we call, if you're like, I travel out overseas and I hear a lot of these English people talk about rubbish. It was just one big mountain of rubbish. You didn't know what if that was a trailer park or some old junkyard. You couldn't almost recognize that there was ever even a trailer park there if it wasn't for a couple trailer parks that were kind of all screwed up, but you could tell that looked like a trader, right? So traders are extremely susceptible to damage and destruction by hurricanes. And some of these traders were actually, they had cables going around them, and they were, pegged down and all this. But a lot of them got flattened out. They turned into pancakes, and it looked like a bulldozer went through the whole place, and a wrecking crew went through there and destroyed the whole place. Now I'm sure there were people lost in a lot of these trader parks. People didn't evacuate. Um, and I will tell you, if you're in a trader, try to go to stay home, stay in somebody's house, or go to some shelter that's stronger. Traders is not a place you want to be in a hurricane that's anything above a category 1, going to about category, and it definitely don't want to be in a category 4 in a trader, and you're going to get hit by it. You're really gambling with your life if you're going to be on a trader. No, and your trader, like I said, it could be pegged down with cables and everything, but it could implode from the inside. What happens with the traders is you may run some cables over the trader, and you may peg it down, but it could implode. All right, this is the problem with the traders. All right, and what I mean is one of the as soon as you lose one of the windows, and all that air starts rushing in, that it could pop up your roof, and your roof is gone. Before you know it, you're gone with the roof. All right, so that's the problem. All right, some people, listen to me, oh, I ran some cables over my trader, and I got that thing pegged down like a cement. I got nobody's named King Kong going to be able to remove that. I got news for you. All it takes is one door being blown away or one window being blown away, and that outside wind is going to create a huge valve. You could say almost like a vacuum, all right, because it's going to be going right across your trader. And if it doesn't go in, it's going to go right. It's going to go across, and it's just going to like suck up air, and you almost have an implosion of it's what you have of your trader. And if it goes in your trader, then you're just basically, it's like a balloon. It's going to be popping up your roof and whatever the deal is. Let me tell you, it was a very sad situation seeing all those trader park. This one entire trader park just completely wasted. All right, and it wasn't just one trader park. There was several trader parks that were totally wasted. There was trader parks that never got rebuilt after Hurricane Andrew, and the other things got built in that place. All right, so you got to be extremely careful if you're going to think that you can survive some major category hurricane in a trader. Me, if I had it my way, I'll be in an underground bunker somewhere if you're going to have a major hurricane. But it is what it is. Not everybody can run to the schools, gyms, you could say, or schools, or some shelter that the government might be running. Not everybody might be able to fit in those shelters. So some people are going to have to rough it out at home. If you can get out of the way, it's even better. Yeah. Some people, what they do is they get in their cars, they get on the highway, but some of them wait a little bit too long to get in the car. The last thing you want that you want happening to you is getting caught in traffic. All right, that you take off and you get on the highway and you're stuck in traffic, and this thing is going to be bearing down on you. Your timing was all screwed up. All right, you had to wait. Quite a while to get gas, because a lot of people have the same idea. I'll get out of town, so I'll go get some gas, And then they get to the gas pump, and there's a big giant line there of people getting gas, and hopefully they don't run out of gas, or the guy from the station decides to close up the station when you're in all this line and say, the heck with it, I'm getting out of here too. So And then once you get on the highway, then you run into a giant traffic disaster, you could say, trying to get out. So it's a lot of stuff going on that you might find yourself in big trouble trying to get out of harm's way. But if you're going to do it, try to do it. Plan it as early as you can. See the projectile, where this hurricane could be heading, and don't wait till the last moment. And if you're already like an hour or two away from a hurricane making landfall and you're right there in that area, it's probably better just to hunker down in some strong built home and hope for the best. That's what I'll tell you. I'll be right back. I'm gonna play a little bit more music here. As I said, the format here is basically we play music and we do a little talking. And today's subject will be hurricanes. And yesterday was IA today. IA was all messed up yesterday, so maybe I have to repeat that one there. Let's do a little bit of music here as we get rolling here.
Who's the one who can rise above? Take a chance, do it all for love and no regrets. Up ahead there's an open door and I gotta find what I'm looking for and I'm on my way. Well, time moves on and the days go by, but the sun don't set on the stars tonight, and I spread my wings. My head's in the clouds with my feet on the ground, my aim held high and I'm moving on. My time is now to make all my dreams come true, to let all the light shine through, so I can be everything I know that I could be, to find all the strength inside. Baby, just watch me fly. Now I have all I need to find the best in me. Well, isn't it time to open my mind and just believe? Just believe. I feel my heart beating like a drum, and I'll never rest till the victory's won, and it's alright. I light 'em up and I'll take 'em down, and I feel the rush at the speed of sound. I'll find a way to make all my dreams come true, to let all the light shine through, so I can be everything I know that I could be, to find all the strength inside. Baby, just watch me fly. Now I have all I need to find the best in me. Well, isn't it time I open my mind and just believe? And it could all come down to this very moment. Yeah. When I leave the ground, you can watch me spread my wings and fly away, to make all my dreams come true, to let all the light shine through, so I can be everything I know that I could be, to find all the strength inside. Baby, just watch me fly. Now I have all I need to find the best of me. Oh, isn't it time I open my mind and just believe? Just believe. Well, isn't it time I open my mind and just believe? Just believe.
Okay, we're back here again. We're back again here. And we have been talking today about hurricanes. This is the topic for today, how here. And as some of you guys seen, this is a new program, a new channel here on YouTube. I would appreciate if you people can subscribe to the channel or give thumbs up. Helps with the algorithm and push this channel forward. I I've done a lot of broadcasting in my life on different things, so this is not my first rodeo when it comes to these kind of channels. Going back to the situation here with the what's could happen to Florida, and in a very short time, you could say, not a couple of days, or maybe a couple of days, couple of hours, you could say, it all depends on how fast this hurricane or storm moves. From the last thing I've seen, it was going to possibly hit around the Tampa area and then move across Florida. This is what the trajectory was. I haven't seen the updates lately. Maybe it's still there. I will think it's still there. All right. And I was thinking, how to get ready for this stuff. Uh, I was, before we cut off to the break here, the music break, I was talking about if you're going to be if you're going to plan to leave, pack up your stuff and leave and go somewhere else, maybe some other part of the state, which is more safe. You should do it early, and you shouldn't wait for the last moment. All right, to plan your getaway, I guess you could say. Because if you stay in the area, things can get really bogged down. You can get yourself caught up in traffic, and the last thing you want to be is stuck in some kind of traffic and you can't get out. You have to abandon your vehicle and seek shelter. All right. If you were like an extremely high category hurricane, you don't want to be in a car. I mean, if you may have the only choice, to, I guess so, but you really would like to be in some solid building somewhere. Hopefully, you're not in some flood zone where you can get flooded too. All right, so that's another one to look out for. And also standing water or rivers, anything that overruns their banks, you don't want to be crossing through that with your cars. All right, it may look safe, all right, but sometimes that's extremely dangerous. Water has a lot of power. You could say a lot of weight that can really push your car, and you could find yourself going down the river. All right, so maybe if it's like a light, you can see that the water's not even hitting the rim of the car that went through. Maybe you're okay, but it's still you're running a risk. Be very careful with going over standing water when the beginning. Usually, when a hurricane's about to hit, a lot of times the power company will just turn off the power because transformers will blow up. And I remember when I was going through Hurricane Andrew, I was basically outside because I was actually assigned to protect some people. We won't get too much of that, but and I was looking at all these flashes throughout the night as this hurricane made his way in. The hurricane came in at nighttime, where I was at. All right, and you'll see these giant flashes of green and blues and reds, and it was basically the transformers blowing up. They were just being blah blah blah. They were just being taken out, and power then of course went out. I guess power company will decided time to turn off the power. And they kind of wait as much as they can to turn off the power, but they get to a certain point where they're just better off to turn off the power because now it becomes a risk for fires. I remember after Hurricane Andrew, there was a big furniture warehouse very close to where I was at, and that whole furniture warehouse was on fire. I mean, it was just burning to the ground. All right, and other buildings were burning to the ground. So it can be, power is one thing that. Now I don't know if that was the cause of that warehouse burning down, if it was something to do with power or gas leak or whatever it was, but if you leave the power on, it does create problems. So a lot of times the power companies they will try to leave it as long as they can, but once it becomes a safety issue, they'll pull the plug on it. And there are people who still go out in the hurricane, or when it's getting close to landfall, even if it's a high category hurricane, they'll want to get on the roads and go out there. Now a lot of times the police will stop and turn them around, send them back home, because and they become a problem because a tree could fall on top of them. The road could be blocked by something else, and maybe a flood comes along, or they get caught up in the wind and their car gets turned over upside down. And a lot of cars got pebbled with a lot of rocks and stones and stuff because of a hurricane. When you have a hurricane at a very high speed and you got a pebble moving at you at 100 and something miles an hour, it's almost like being shot. So that's Another one there. Some people lose their life because of some of the stuff that they do. Other people are, I feel kind of bad for the people who are elderly people who may not have too many family members around. And they're living in an extreme budget. All right, and they're afraid to lose their last possessions. Their possessions they have in their homes that they've been living for a long time. Well, they're a trader, and some of them refuse to leave. Okay, they don't want to leave. They want to stay there. They feel like they're going to be able to survive. And I'm telling you right now, if you go through a hurricane and you're somebody that's not in really good health, you could find yourself in some serious trouble because during the middle of a hurricane, nobody's going to come and rescue. More than likely, nobody's going to show up, and systems could be down. Communication systems can be down. Communication systems can be down. All kind of systems can be down. The power could be down. Communication systems could be down. No way to get a hold of anybody for anything. No cell towers. All cell towers can be wrapped around, made into a bowl, you could say. It can be all destroyed. So what are you going to do? You're there by yourself. You're an elderly person. You're inside of a trader. The hurricane's bearing down on you. You can see you're hearing all kind of noises outside of basically your neighbor's traders being ripped out of the foundation. You're in some dire strait problem. You're in deep, deep trouble. I'll tell you that right now. All right. There was a story I remember, Hurricane Andrew. I heard about the story, but I couldn't verify, but I did hear about this one story. There was an elderly lady, and Hurricane Andrew hit. She was on a trader. She didn't get out, and she survived I think she kind of like tied herself with a belt or something on the trader's hitch. All right. There was on that because the trader was being held down by cables, I guess. But somehow that hitch was staying to the ground, and that was the way she go. She went for the most part of that hurricane outside. She got lucky because I've heard of other people that were outside during Hurricane Andrew that didn't make it. It's because, like I said, projectiles are moving extremely fast. Loose rocks, many stuff, signs and all kind of stuff could be moving at extremely high speed. And if you get hit, you can get seriously injured or killed. All right. So that's why you should seek shelter. All right. And I felt sorry for a lot of the first responders, police officers and medics, and I could tell they were very brave people because they themselves they were living in Dade County, and they themselves lost they lost a lot of them lost their homes. A lot of them had families to protect, but they had a call to duty. They had to go and see what they could do for the community. And I remember this one sad time, kind of like it's kind of pathetic or sad, you could say. I was helping some people out, and then this one patrol car came by. It was Miami-Dade, or back now it's Metro. They used to be called Metro back then. They came by, and there was about 4 guys in the car. And the reason there was 4 guys in the car is because a lot of the patrol cars were upside down, floated away. So they were there, but they had a look. I've never seen police officer with the look of. They didn't talk. They were zombie out. I think the police officer were more in shock than anybody else because think about it, you got in the patrol car, now you're going around the neighborhood, you're seeing everything. All right. And I remember asking a question to one of the officers. He rolled down his window, but I don't even know if he realized that he rolled down his window because you could see he's just staring, like if somebody was in shock. If you ever seen somebody in shock, you're talking to them, but they're not really there. And I asked him some question. And he rolled down the window, and he was just looking. And I asked him the question. I could just by looking at him and the four guys that were in the car, I could see they were in shock, like they're in shock. And I said, let me leave it alone. And I moved away, and I could continue doing what I was doing, because these officers were basically like they'd never seen anything like it. All right, and that's one thing I'm gonna tell people. I was trying at the beginning of the broadcast. I was trying to explain to people you really got to be patient with the government. All right. You're probably not going to see for the first anywhere between the first 24 hours to the first 48 hours or even further out. You're not going to see too much government help. All right. It's if it's a major disaster, the government is just not going to send people there blindly and put a whole bunch of convoys and just send them down there. All right. And it could be the facilities that the government had planned within the zone, the strike zone of the hurricane. All right. Those facilities might have been damaged too. So, and there's a lot of cables are down, a lot of electrical cables are down, and you cannot move a convoy of 100 to 150 vehicles, whatever, 200, 300 vehicles down a road when it's all covered by down cables, all right, or telephone poles or trees. You got to start clearing the roads, all right. Helicopters can start coming in to do rescue, but this takes also organization. And you gotta have, if it's a very wide area where the helicopter is going to be up there a while, you're gonna have the right refueling points for it. It's gonna have to come down one day and refuel. Where are you gonna take the people to? Are you taking them to a hospital? Is that hospital been destroyed by a hurricane? It takes some planning, people. It's not just jump in there, send a whole bunch of helicopters, send anybody down there who's got a truck with supplies, and voila, the government's there. It doesn't work that way. All right, so I was frustrated too, but then from my perspective, because of the work that I was doing, I know that they're going to be bogged down in different areas, and it's going to take a while to get there. So you're going to be on your own possibly for the first 24 hours to 48 hours out. You're not going to get too much help, and whatever help you're going to get is probably going to be local help, your local police, and your local medics, or you could say EMT services and this kind of stuff. I'll be right back. What I'm going to do is play a little music, and I want to get something to drink here, and we'll continue to talk on this topic. And please, if you like the show and you like the topic, and you like me sitting out here and doing this, don't forget to subscribe, thumbs up, and all the good stuff, because this helps with algorithms. This is a brand new channel for this. For me to come out here. Like I say, it's not my first rodeo. I have done broadcasts before. And I hope you guys can enjoy this and help boost up this channel and become followers of this channel. All right, I'll be back right after this. Let's get some going right here. Where is it at?
Here's your story, let's begin. The water's fine, come on, dive in. The future's here, it's right before your eyes. Step by step, you're on your way. You're welcome to a brighter day. Don't you know it feels good to be alive? You could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy and every girl. You could fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars. You could have all you ever wanted, shoot the moon and reach for Mars. You know you could. Yeah, and times are changing everywhere. Do we dream and do we dare? It's up to you, the door is open wide. Feel the rhythm of today, learn the part and join the play. The world is here, let's take it for a ride. You could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy and every girl. You could fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars. You could have all you ever wanted, shoot the moon and reach for Mars. You know you could. Larger, larger than, bigger, bigger than, living hopes and dreams. Every boy and girl, higher, higher than, brighter, brighter than, all you wanted. You know, you could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy and every girl. You could fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars. You can have all you ever wanted.
Okay, we're back here again. We're talking about hurricanes, and we are in hurricane season. Things are beginning to. One second. There you go. Things are beginning to get a little nasty out there, and with hurricanes. And I know there are some people that are talking about, could this be that or that? Okay, that's out there in some other. We could talk about that all day long. You could say. Hurricanes. What I'm talking about here today is how to survive a hurricane from my own experience with hurricanes. I actually was home. Not you can say not homeless, but I actually almost lived in an abandoned building for almost 8 months. I with no power, and I did have. I believe we did have water running, but there was no power in that building. There was no. It was a really bad condition, and I lived there for around 8 months. All right, until things got restored. That's how bad things were. All right, because of my job helping others. All right, I really wasn't too concerned. I was at that time I was single, I didn't have no family, and I was more like what I wanted to do was try to see who I could help, and I was doing that and living pretty much in abandoned. It was practically abandoned. All right, I was still employed, but the only thing was that I was living in those conditions. There was nowhere to go. When Hurricane Andrew hit uh, sudden Miami, you could say there was basically nowhere to go. You couldn't just say, "Oh, I'm gonna go and go up and find me an apartment somewhere else in up north Miami, or even go into Fort Lauderdale." A lot of the places were just filled in. A lot of people rented out the apartments. A lot of it was very hard to find a place to stay at, and relatives, some relatives just couldn't handle any more people. Maybe the other relatives had their homes damaged, and in my case, that was in some ways that was my case where my relatives had all their homes damaged. Most of them had their homes damaged, and they were all staying in one relative's house. All right. And I didn't want to. I mean, I was at that point a single person. I didn't have no. I'm a person who pretty much can survive under any kind of condition. So I say, what the heck, I'll rough it out. I'll eat MREs. By the way, I do like MREs, so what the heck, And I had a friend of mine that he was out there in Homestead Air Force Base, and he brought me a pile of MREs. And I had another friend of mine who was also working with other agencies, and he brought me another pile of inmates. I could not say thanks to God. I could say this honestly, thanks to God. There was not one day during the hurricane that I was missing any kind of food. I had all the food pretty much that I wanted to eat. Had water, had food. The only thing was the living condition was, was a really rough living conditions. My first couple of weeks was basically trying to get the roaches not to sleep with me over there in my bed. And that was on the ground. That was on the floor. It's like it. I will say one thing: if you guys are kind of skittish when it comes to insects like roaches, if you're living in an apartment complex and you get hit by a hurricane, you might not like what comes next because a lot of people's refrigerators are going to defrost and a lot of food's going to go bad. And let me tell you, if you're in Florida, the roach population just goes through the moon. Boom, you know what I mean? It's huge. I can see that we have Overlord joining us here on the chat room. Overlord, yesterday when I was on here, that entire video got destroyed. I don't know if you noticed that. The video had a horrible. I'm talking to an individual that was on the chat room yesterday when I was doing my AI video. And actually, earlier today, probably, I guess you can go back around 10 hours, 14 hours ago. All right, I was doing a video. But Overlord was there, and what happened is, well, actually more than that. But the video was messed up. The video had a horrible echo to it. And I was not aware of the echo. I guess you had to have it a little bit higher to listen to it. It had a terrible, terrible echo, and I was about to delete the video, and I left it. All right. So we're back here again. What are we talking about today? We're talking about hurricanes. Is what we're talking about. Excuse me. I'll be right back. Let me do a little music here, and I'll be right back right after this music. And gotta get something to drink here. My throat's kind of dry, and I'll be right back after this.
just foggy days, but now you're here and the sky is clear. You're the one who always treats me right. You're the one who takes care of me. I've been lifted up by you. 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 Your love surrounds me like a cozy cloud. You make me happy and I shout it out. There's no one else out there to compete with you. No, there will never be a friend like you. Lifted up by you. Lifted up by you.
Okay, we're back here again. We're back here again. Thank you guys for coming to the show. This is Give Me Talk. We're live today. Yesterday I was talking to Overlord that's on the chat room, and I was telling him that I had a terrible echo, and I really didn't realize until I replayed back the entire video that it was already broadcast. I do the videos live, so sometimes I can't tell. I did test my system, but I didn't realize it had no problems. But when I went on the air for whatever reason, it had a horrible echo on it. Overlord tried to tell me about it. He says he's tried to tell me about it. I must have been, talking or something. I didn't see his warning me about it. So sorry about that. If you guys ever see me do something like that, some kind of mistake, or something that you didn't hear it or didn't sound right, let me know on the chat room here on YouTube. We're live on YouTube. We're also live on X. It's also being broadcast on X, and it's being broadcast here on YouTube. We're talking today's topic is hurricanes and how to prepare or what to go. I was talking about my experience with hurricanes and what to expect when a hurricane hits. I was beginning to tell you that when it comes to the government, you're really going to have some patience with it, because the government, there are issues in going into a hot zone, a hurricane zone, where there's been a major hurricane. There are really issues. Usually the government, they kind of fan out when they start to come in, but they also try to fan out as much as they can, trying to rescue people who are trapped under debris, all right, or people from homes or people in flood areas. But they kind of work themselves from the perimeter, going towards the inside, and more and more towards the center of where the city is, or the area that was been hit. And you can't blame them. That's the only way they can work, unless they take actual people and fly them in through helicopters and stuff, and make an airdrop. All right, they land them somewhere in some LZ zone. All right, but that's a lot of times where they work from the perimeter going in. And a lot of the local police is already embedded inside the hot zone. You could say they're already patrolling some of the areas, helping people. Have to fend off for a while until they get more help from the government. The government that comes in starts to bring in water supply, food supplies, start setting up triage, start setting up some, like you could say, like these MASH type of units. They start to set them up so people can get some help. A lot of people get injured after a hurricane going outside and exploring around and looking for things, and they run into all kind of problems. People, they mess around with a lot of power tools. They may not have a lot of experience with power tools. End up There's a lot of injuries from that, and there's been a lot of death from power tools after a hurricane. There's been a lot of dead people after a hurricane, doing things probably they shouldn't have been doing, or tools they shouldn't have been running. All right, and there's been a lot of problems with that. So you got to be careful with all this. If you have survived the hurricane, you're now in some hot zone. You know that the government, like I tell people, prepare to be by yourself anywhere between 24 hours to 48 hours. You might not see any kind of help. The only help you're going to see is going to be mainly it's going to be local police. It's what's going to be your help in local fire. All right. So for as far as government coming in with National Guards, there'll be some National Guards because if you take a city like Miami, when Hurricane Andrew hit, they have their own National Guard in there. So they'll be, but they're not that much. All right. You're talking about main body. I think we had the 183rd Airborne Division come in Miami. They send them in afterwards. There was a lot of looting going on in Miami. I'm talking about, I remember the hurricane winds were not down, and there was this very large mall that I was able to observe a massive amount of people already looting the mall, and a lot of the winds were still possibly the wind was still going up to around 70, 50 miles an hour winds, and there were people running into those malls, looting these malls. All right, so there was a lot of looting after Hurricane Andrew hit, and this is one of the reasons that 183rd came in there to stop a lot of the looting. And of course, they came in with supplies and water and all kind of stuff, and they started to bring in some safety. And there those people being having their homes looted, people stealing stuff, all kind of stuff, cars being broken into, stuff being stolen. It was a free for all. Let me tell you, it was a free for all. For criminals, it was a free. It was like it was like heaven open for criminal heaven. Has broken up, has broken open for them. They were getting whatever they can as much as they can. They were going through people's homes and stealing people's homes that were damaged and destroyed. They were going in there and stealing just about anything they could get their hands on. All right, so it was really bad. So then a lot of police came from northern part or unaffected parts of Florida. They were not affected. They came in and set up shop inside Miami, especially in the really severely hit area. So you could see police from Orlando in Miami, all right, from Palm Beach, from whatever, on patrol. They came in with patrol. A lot of them came with patrol cars. And then, like I said, National Guards reinforcements for the National Guards came in. 182nd came in, and Miami started to get more secured. The first 24 hours to 48 hours out, you're not going to be secure. I'm going to tell you that right now. There's not enough police officers, and a lot of these police officers had their property damaged. All right, they got families, they got kids, and they were worried about that. And even though when you have an emergency, like in Miami, you'll have something called Alpha Bravo, which means they'll throw everybody into a 12-hour shift. There's no days off. You're in a 12-hour shift. You're making a hell of overtime. And that's where a lot of these officers were at. But still, a lot of them suffer major damage. And they had to be at home, or they had to take care of it. So it was a very touchy situation. The first night, I think the first night of that hurricane was probably the most ugliest night of them all. That was the night of the nights of screams, I guess you can call it. That was the night when a lot of people were screaming and yelling, and they didn't know what to do. There was a lot of crying, people out of crying at night. I was doing a patrol at that time. Like I said, I was doing some kind of work, and I was trying to do my best to, and I'm okay because I'm armed to the teeth, and my partner's armed to the teeth, and we're okay. And but there was a lot of people. There you could, if you had the if you were going, if you're on a car or a truck, whatever, you roll down the windows, and you're if you were mobile, you could say, you hear all these people screaming, and there was a lot of gunshots being rung. I think there was a lot of people warning criminals not to go inside their homes, and you hear a lot of these gunshots ringing out, and maybe other people were actually shooting at the criminals. There was a lot of stuff going on. Then there was, you could see fires all over the place in the distance. Miami was probably one of the most darkest times I've seen, and I've been, like I said, I've been overseas, and I've been to really bad areas, and I've done work for the DoD. Uh, but Miami was, it looked like something out of out of Escape from New York or something like that. It really, that night it just looked like a horror scene. There was no running water anywhere. There was no power anywhere, and I felt so sorry for the people that had kids, and the older persons. They just didn't know what to do. And there was so many people walking around with this zombie look. Like they were literally walking in shock. Like I said, there was these police officers that came in a patrol car. There were four police officers in one patrol car, and I can pretty much imagine what happened there. Is a lot of patrol cars were damaged or destroyed. All right, and I'm literally, what I'm telling you here is completely 100% true. That guy rolled down his window. The police officer driving rolled down his window, and Kuning wasn't even looking at me. He rolled down his window because I was going to ask him something, and he was in shock. He literally was in shock. And the other three guys in the car they were in shock too. Nobody was talking. I didn't hear them like they were talking to each other when they rolled down the window. They were just looking, and you could see they were in shock. All right, and they must have seen a lot of stuff that night. All right. Eventually, at nighttime, somehow, I guess National Guards or the police, somebody set up some kind of light. And the thing about it was very horrible because when Hurricane Andrew hit Miami, it was around August when it hit Miami. I'm trying to remember the date. I think it was like August 12, August 14, something like that. When it hit Miami, and it was extremely hot. All right, and then you if you roll down the windows, the mosquitoes eat you. So, and another big problem was trying to get any kind of sleep that night was almost next to impossible when you had all these generators. People that had generators, homes, and these generators are blaring out this horrible noise. People had their generators running all night, which is kind of ridiculous. Um, and they were basically, running these generators, and there was this horrible noise all over the place. And you couldn't get no sleep. You just couldn't get any kind of sleep. It was just terrible. And it was a very long night. Eventually, exhaustion took over me, and I pretty much had to go sleep. I got to a point where just my whole body said, go sleep, go crash out. All right, and I had to get some sleep. All right, hang on a second. Let me turn something here. Give me 1 second. Okay, so it's a very rough situation to find yourself in a hurricane. I'm going to go into some music here, and I'll be right back right after we play a little tune here. We're going to be talking. I want to talk about next how to survive a hurricane, how to get ready for a hurricane, how you can survive one. And I'm saying all this because right now, Tampa is under threat by another hurricane heading in its direction, and it could impact Tampa and within a day and a half or two. They say by Wednesday it could impact, and that's like the latest I've seen on the Weather Channel. So let me play a little bit of music. I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about how to survive a hurricane. And this is from somebody who had experience in a hurricane. Not only one hurricane, I've actually experienced about five hurricanes. All right, and I've been flooded out, and I've been totally all my stuff been so screwed up. So I'll be back. Just let me play a little bit of music, and we'll be right back in a very short time here.
You and I, we were meant to be. I feel it in my soul. separated you and me. Broken made whole. Broken made whole. The world that tries to steal our hope tries to make us numb, but our love has overcome. And you, my dear, you are my prize. When I look into your eyes, love overflow, I'm never letting go. All my life I give to you, love breakthrough, I'm never letting go. Never ceasing, our love grows ever increasing, I won't let you go. Hearts of fire through and through, follow me, I'll follow you, we will pursue everything together do. Tests and trials, love renew. Yeah, we've made it, we've always been proven true. We've always been proven true. Still the world that tries to steal our hope tries to make us numb, but our love has overcome. And you, my dear, you are my prize. When I look into your eyes, love overflow, I'm never letting go. All my life I give to you, love breakthrough, I'm never letting go. Never ceasing, our love grows ever increasing, never letting go. All my life I give to you, love breakthrough, I'm never letting go. Never ceasing, our love grows ever increasing, I won't let you go. We were made for each other.
Behind their smiles,
Okay, people, we're
eternal
back here
live
again.
like
Hang on a second.
eyes, waiting to do.
All right, we're back here again. I'm going to do the broadcast later on. I'm going to get back into this broadcast. Right now, I just did about a couple of minutes of this broadcast, about 18 minutes. But I'll be back on this broadcast later. There's something that I have to do. We're going to be talking more about how to prepare for a situation with a hurricane. Uh, Possibly in another, let's see what time it is. Maybe in about 4 hours from now, 4 or 5 hours from now, I'll be coming back doing the rest of the broadcast. But right now, I had a little emergency that I had to go take care of, and I'll be back. And we're going to rebroadcast. We're not going to rebroadcast. We're going to continue on the topic of how to make yourself safe for a hurricane and what to expect. So I hope you guys will tune in around 5 hours, 5 or 6 hours. Tune in, and we'll be doing another broadcast here. And same thing, same format. I do a little bit talking, and we'll do a little bit of music. And it's basically like the old time radio shows that you'll see on AM. And I also want to see some updates on the hurricane to see. I have a lot of families who live in Florida, and I want to see what's going on with this and be able to bring you back some updates and other good stuff. So anyway, you guys, thank you guys for coming out here. Thank you for joining me, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and follow and all the and thumbs up and the whole 9 yards. Thank you guys, and you guys have a great